Are you ready to transform your summer into an epic splash-tastic adventure? Say goodbye to wasteful, single-use water balloons and hello to the ultimate in reusable, eco-friendly fun with reusable water balloons. Check out the link in the video description to get yours on Amazon today.
A teenager mysteriously found dead on a lonely highway had very little blood around his body, despite his horrific injuries, the first cop on the scene says. Noah Pressgrove, 19, was wearing only shoes when his body was discovered on a desolate stretch of US 81 near Terrell, Oklahoma, on September 4. He was last seen alive about a mile away at a 4-day 22nd birthday party with friends over the Labor Day weekend that was heavily documented on social media. Jefferson County Undersheriff Jimmy Williams was the first policeman to arrive at the scene after two motorists saw the body and called 911. Williams arrived at 6:18 a.m., about half an hour after the emergency calls at 5:43 a.m. and 5:48 a.m., and investigated Pressgrove's body. He only took a brief look before focusing on securing the area, but told DailyMail.com there was not enough blood for it to be starkly noticeable. I didn't observe a lot of blood, from what little I was there checking. Once we determined he was in fact dead, I was just securing the location, he said. Williams couldn't say if there was more or less blood than you would expect from Pressgrove's injuries, as he was not a medical expert, but it was not an obvious amount. His observations aligned with Tyler Hardy, the first motorist to stop at the scene, Pressgrove's best friend Jack Newton, and others who said there was very little blood around the teen's body. A medical expert told DailyMail.com that with the injuries detailed in Pressgrove's autopsy report, there would have been a lot of blood at the scene. Many friends, family, and locals believe Pressgrove didn't die where he was found and was instead killed somewhere else and his body dumped on the highway. Williams also said Pressgrove was not laying in the fetal position, as some people who saw the body recalled. He was laying somewhat on his side, but I wouldn't say he was in a fetal position, no, he said, saying his legs were straight and his arms not tucked into his body. The undersheriff said there were only 5 people at the scene when he arrived, and he was joined by Sheriff Jeremy Wilson 6 minutes later at 6:24 a.m. Along with the two motorists who called 911 were 2 Terrell Rural Volunteer Fire Department officers, including its chief, who arrived at 6:15 a.m., and Newton. Williams said from when he arrived to when he left at 8:17 a.m., only the sheriff and Oklahoma Highway Patrol troopers came to the scene. We kept traffic moving, except for people who needed to be there. Not long after OHP arrived we shut the road down completely, he said. The sheriff's department released audio of the 911 calls on Monday, and Williams cleared up some unanswered questions about them. The two callers were Gulfmark Energy Field Supervisor Tyler Hardy, and a semi-truck driver also named Tyler, who didn't give his last name to the 911 operator. 3 calls were placed from the area, but one of them was just 20 seconds of static that Williams said was Hardy on a bad signal. He had a bad connection and he to recall. I confirmed it was the same phone number, he said. The first call, at 5:43 a.m., was from Tyler, whom Hardy earlier said was a trucker for Oklahoma Petroleum Allies who turned around in Terrell, about 2 miles south, and came back to the scene. I had a bunch of cars behind me, but it looks like someone got hit, like somebody walking down the highway. They are, lying on the shoulder in the road, he said. Yeah, like on the shoulder, like maybe they were walking and somebody hit them, unless it was a deer, but it looked like a body. The dispatcher assured Tyler that she would have an officer respond to the situation, and then said Sheriff Wilson was on his way. Before the call ended, Tyler remarked that the scene looked awful odd. Hardy, who was one of the cars behind Tyler, pulled over next to Pressgrove and called 911 at 5:48 a.m., immediately trying again after his first call failed. I was driving to work south of Terrell, and I am pretty sure someone is lying dead on the side of the road, he said. They look naked, I'm staying back. The dispatcher told him that a deputy was heading toward the scene to address the situation. Hardy responded that he was parked in the middle of the road, so he could prevent other motorists from driving over the body. I am sitting here blocking the road. The body is lying right on the white line. I turned around because I